Hey guys, this time around the question comes from Mason, and Mason asks, why is there pain? Now, this is a really valid question when you think about it, because we talk about the idea that you're supposed to enjoy your life. We talked about the idea over and over again, and we will talk about the idea over and over again, that this is a pretty wonderful place, and you're pretty wonderful. You're made in the image and after the likeness and all of that. We say that you don't have to hurt. And knowing that, and all of those things around that we'd like to talk about and think about, it's a natural question. You go, okay, great. If I'm made so wonderfully, if all of those things are true, how come I see so much pain in the world? How come when I look in the mirror sometimes this hurts? What does that mean? Great question, and I'm really glad to have the opportunity to talk about it. I want to start by saying something that I've said before, and that is that the way you feel is real. The way that you feel is valid, and it's actual. And like I said, I know I've talked about that before, but I need to double down on it, because there are a lot of people who will say something like, oh, well, those things that hurt, they're not real. It's all an illusion, and your job, in so many words, is to act like it doesn't hurt. And you know exactly how well that works, or I should say how well that doesn't work. You're not going to get a merit badge for suffering here. You're not going to get any kind of prizes for pretending like something doesn't hurt. In fact, that's codependency. That lets bullies continue to be bullies. It lets hardship continue to be hardship, and nothing gets better. We're going to stop ignoring the things that don't feel right, and we're going to face them so that we can grow. So first of all, the pain that you feel, if you feel it, it's real. Okay, so we're going to start with that. But I also want to let you know that if you have something in your life that hurts, it doesn't mean that you are some kind of a failure. For one thing, just like the song says, everybody hurts sometimes. But more than that, I think it's very common for there's this weird math to happen where people do this. Maybe you've heard this before. If my thinking controls my life, in other words, people say if you don't like your life, change your mind. You've heard that kind of thing before. If the way that I live in the world is the result of how I think, how I feel, how I act, if my experience is the result of my consciousness, in other words, and my life stinks, then maybe I'm messed up. Maybe I'm flawed. And you've seen people do that. They'll go, well, what's in your consciousness that your life isn't working out so well? Or some version of that, some kind of judgment. And that goes to a place of victim blaming, for example, really quickly. And exactly zero of that is helpful or right. That's not how this works. If you have something that hurts in your life, it doesn't mean that you have messed up. In fact, if you have something that hurts in your life, you are being woken up to something really important. There's a sign there. And we want signs, don't we? I mean, think about it this way. On a very, very fundamental level, when something hurts, it's the universe saying, don't do that. You know, I mean, it's not any more complicated than that sometimes. If it hurts when you bang your head up against a wall, or when you bang your heart up against an unforgiving scenario, if that hurts, quit doing it, right? This doesn't have to be complicated. It's a wonderful signpost. But let me say even more about that. Here's the deal. Remember, we are not here to maximize our comfort zone. We are not here to look for validation of the way that we already think and we already feel. You are designed for motion and growth and evolution. You are made to break boundaries, to get out of your comfort zone, to be more than, right? That's the deal. So if nothing hurts, if nothing is uncomfortable, if nothing is weird or strange, then also nothing's wonderful, right? If nothing is unusual to you, then you're not growing. You've made a nice little bubble for yourself, and that can be fun for a little while, but you know as well as I do that it gets old. Don't you wish you could leave the house right now, for example? This is like that, but in your mind and in your heart. It's time to look for opportunities to stretch ourselves. And so if you have things in your life that are hurting, it might just be that you're breaking through a boundary. It might just be that you are on the edge of something important. Now, I'm not saying that you should go looking for things that hurt. But I am saying if you have some of them in your life, it means you have also the opportunity to grow. You know, they say no pain, no gain, and I'm not here to sell you a membership to the Cobra Kai Dojo, but I will let you know that in those growing places, sometimes there's growing pain, and that's okay. You know what else they say at the gym? There's always a sign that says, pain is weakness leaving the body, or something like that. Okay, that can be true. Let me say it this way. Each and every moment is filled with little choices, little micro decisions, and sometimes they're no big deal. Little choices, what am I going to wear today? But sometimes those little moments expand out to make a whole different life for you, right? Sometimes when we make a choice, it means that some old part of us has to go, right? That's the fundamental paradigm, right? We're always choosing, what do we preserve and what do we let go of? Just like Noah and the ark. That's really a story about what you need to do when it's time for a cleansing, but we'll talk about that some other time. Right now, here's the idea. If something hurts, it's very, very possible, maybe even probable, that the thing that hurts is you trying to hang on to something that you're supposed to let go of. Maybe it's an old understanding. Maybe it's an old comfortable belief. You know exactly how it feels when you finally let go of something and all of a sudden you're free. It turns out that whatever it was isn't who you are anymore. We talk about this a lot. So much of life is release because God and the universe and life and everything else is pretty great all by itself. Your job is to let go of some things so you can be a purer, more honest version of yourself. That's the job description, right? So when something hurts, it might just mean that you have now figured out something that you need to let go of. Maybe it's your ego. Maybe it's your expectations. Maybe it's literally a person or a job that's killing you and making you feel like a loser. Who knows except you know, right? So why is there pain? Because you're growing. Why is there pain, Mason? Because you have an opportunity and a wonderful feedback mechanism that tells you what's healthy, what's not healthy, where you can go, and where you can grow. So acknowledge what hurts. Listen to it. And here's the big deal. See it as your teacher. That's important. Stop ignoring it and stop fighting it, but see it as your teacher. In yoga class, they say, relax into the pain. In other words, let it tell you where you need to let go. And I don't know if you've ever been to a yoga class where they do that, but it's incredibly healthy when you go, oh, wait a minute, I was hanging on to that. Everything is like everything. Life is like that. See your pain as your teacher, and you will get to a place where that, whatever it is, doesn't have to hurt you anymore. Because the pain isn't part of you. It's telling you something about who you really are. Listen to that. Sometimes grieve through it because it shows you you're alive. That's beautiful. Why is there growth? Well, the universe is infinite. You got a lot more of it to do. And we can do it together. In the meantime, if there's something that you're hurting about, come find me. Let's talk about it. But I want you to know that you're on the right track. When you're on the edge of something, you're right where you're supposed to be. So thanks for the questions. Keep them coming in. You know how to do that. Come find me on social media. Send me an email, text me, whatever it is. You know how to get a hold of me. Keep the questions coming. The best way to do it is by putting out a tweet or an Instagram post with the hashtag AskDieter. I'll be watching. Please like and subscribe and share and all of that. It means an awful lot. You got this.